People, I welcome you back to another video in the series in which we're solving accounting for share capital problems from the previous year questions. Today we have taken our question from main board exam 2023, 6-mark question. Pushkar Ltd invited applications for 30,000 shares of rupees 100 each at a premium of 20%. The amount per share was payable as follows: on application rupees 40, including 10 rupees premium, and allotment rupees 30, including 10 rupees premium. On first call 30, and on second and final call it's a balance. Applications were received for 40,000 shares, and pro rata allotment was made to all applicants for 35,000 shares. The remaining applications refused. So we received 40,000 applications and we made pro rata application allotment on 35,000 shares while rejecting completely the remaining 5,000 applications. Excess application money was adjusted towards sums due on allotment. Yogesh, who applied for 700 shares, failed to pay the allotment money and his shares were forfeited immediately after allotment. Note this point, my dear children. Yogesh's shares were forfeited immediately after allotment, which means even before the first call was made, Yogesh's shares were forfeited. First call was made thereafter, and all the money due on first call was received. The second and final call was not made. Pass necessary journal entries. So in this question, we just have one defaulter, Yogesh, and his shares were forfeited immediately after the allotment money, which he didn't pay. And his shares were immediately forfeited. And the first call was made without reissuing the shares, which means the first call is made only for the other shares, the shares other than Yogesh's shares. So without further ado, let's start solving the problem. The first journal entry, as you all know very well, is receiving the application money. The journal entry is bank account debit to equity share application or share application, because they haven't mentioned that it's an equity share. See, they are equity shares. Application money received. The amount would be the total number of applications received, which is 40,000, multiplied by the application money per share, which is 40. So that is 16 lakh. The second journal entry, my dear children, is to allot the shares. And in allotment, what do? We first debit share application account with the entire amount that was received, which happens to be 16 lakh in the question. And then we credit share capital account with the capital portion received on the allotted shares. How many shares are we allotting here? The company invited applications for 30,000 shares. As you can see in the question, the company invited application for 30,000 shares. If we are allotting 30,000 shares, on the 30,000 shares, capital portion is 30. You see here, along with application, we're receiving 40, but out of the 40, 10 rupees is premium, which means only 30 rupees is capital portion. So that will be 30,000 into 30, which is, 30,000 into 30, which is 9 lakh. And then the securities premium portion will be taken to securities premium account. Securities premium account is what, my dear children? It's 30,000 into 10. Understood? So that is 30,000 into 10, 3 lakh. And we've also rejected certain applications, which means we'll have to refund the application money received on those shares. And the number of shares that we rejected are 5,000. We received 40,000 applications and we made pro rata allotment only on 35,000 shares. So 5,000 applications have been rejected by us. So that 5,000 into 40, the application money received on those shares is 2 lakh. And the remaining, as a question instructs, should be transferred to share allotment account. If the remaining is more than what is actually due on share allotment account, then whatever is excess of what is due on share allotment account on all the shares allotted shall be refunded. Let's see how much is remaining. We had 16 lakhs in all. We transferred 9 lakh to share capital, 3 lakh to securities premium, and we have only 2 lakh left. Shares allotted. If you look at the question, you can clearly see that allotment money is 30,000. 30 rupees per share. 30 rupees per share into 30,000 is 9 lakh rupees. So we don't have enough to cover the allotment money with the excess application money that is available for us. And therefore, we'll just take you to share allotment account and we'll not refund any because we don't have anything over and above what is required on allotment. Next thing to do would be to make allotment money due. The journal entry for that is equity share. Share allotment account debit. If they mentioned it as equity share, then it will be equity share allotment. Otherwise, it's just share allotment account debit to share capital. As there is premium also in this question, then the remaining will go to securities premium account. Sorry, securities premium. Share allotment money made due. All right, children. So the allotment money that was supposed to be made due is on 30,000 shares, 30,000 into 30, which is 9 lakh. And the share capital portion will be credited with the capital part of the allotment money. We have out of the 30, 20 rupees is capital and 10 rupees is premium as given in the question, which we read earlier. So 30 into 20 will go to share capital. And 30,000 into 10 rupees will go to premium as that is a premium portion. That is 30,000 into 10. So we made the allotment money due. Now we have a problem in allotment. Yogesh, a shareholder who had applied for 700 shares, did not pay the allotment money. Am I right? Whenever there is excess application money for a certain call and there is call scenarios, what we got to do is we got to compute the call scenarios through a working note. It cannot be done directly by multiplying the number of shares with the amount due. So the working note we have done many times in many videos in the earlier problems that I solved for you. In any case, we'll do it again here for this problem. Excess application money per share is what, my dear children. The total excess application money that was available to be adjusted against allotment. In this case, it happens to be 2 lakh. The 2 lakh divided by the total number of shares allotted on pro rata basis, which is 30,000. Understood? So 2 lakh divided by 30,000 is 6.67. The allotment money due per share is 30. Out of that 20 was capital, and 10 was premium. So total 30. However, we only have 6.67 rupees as excess application money. That will be set off against the 20 premium. So it will be 20 minus 6.67, which will give us 13.33. And securities premium is all the 10 is receivable as there is no excess application money available. So totally allotment money receivable on all shares is 23.33. Now, the total call scenarios of Yogesh in allotment would be the total number of shares held by him multiplied by the amount receivable on allotment, which happens to be 23.33. In the question, they haven't mentioned the number of shares held by Yogesh. Instead, they've given us the number of shares applied for by Yogesh. As we all know, in pro rata allotment, the number of shares held will always be lesser than the number of shares applied by Yogesh. So we'll have to find out the number of shares held by Yogesh. What do? We multiply and write the total number of shares and the denominator total number of applications by the person for whom we are finding it, and we'll write the total shares total applications on which pro rata allotment was made. We received 40,000 applications, 5,000 we rejected. On the remaining 35,000 applications, we made pro rata allotment. So it will be 35,000 here. And the total number of shares on which pro rata allotment was made in the numerator to find the total number of shares held by this shareholder. So if you work this out, you can find out that the 3,000 will get cancelled with this 3,000. The 7 gets cancelled once and it becomes 5 times. And the 5 can be cancelled with this 30 or 6 times. So what you're left with is 600 shares. So Yogesh had been allotted 600 shares. Understood or not, my dear children? And so the total call scenarios would be the amount receivable per share, which we computed to be 23.33, multiplied with 600 shares. So the total call scenarios in this would be 600 into 23.33, which is 13,998, which is approximately equal to 14,000. So we'll round it off to 14,000. So and then we debit bank account for receiving the allotment money. As there is calls in arrears of Yogesh, we'll debit calls in arrears account also. Calls in arrears account debited to share for share allotment share first allotment money received. So what do we do here? We'll first credit allot whenever we're receiving something which has excess application money, like in allotment. Whenever it has excess application money allotment, we'll credit allotment account first with the amount made due and deduct the excess application and write it there, which happens to be 7 mark. Understood or not, my dear children? Calls in arrears, we arrived at it as 14,000, and therefore the bank amount received in bank will be 14 minus 7 lakh, which is 6,86,000. All right. So the next thing to do would be to make the. I'm sorry. We got to forfeit the shares. Usually, you would have made the first call due, but in this question, they clearly mentioned that Yogesh's shares were forfeited immediately after the first call. So immediately after allotment. Even before the first call was made, Yogesh's shares had been forfeited. Understood or not? We will make the forfeiture entry. Now, whenever forfeiture entries, before we make the forfeiture entry, we got to understand if there is premium involved in the question or not. In this question, premium is involved. Now, when premium is involved, we got to see if premium has been received or by the company or not. Now, premium is receivable on two calls, which is application and allotment. And as you can see, application money was paid by Yogesh, whereas allotment money wasn't paid. Now we go to the working note of calls and arrears, in which we find out the fact that the excess application money was set off against only share capital, and the entire premium of 10 rupees is not yet been received. First, let me tell you a rule here. Whenever there is excess application money, the excess application money will be first set off against capital portion, and if there is excess beyond that, only then it will be set off against premium. Here, the excess application money is only 6.67, and the capital portion is 20 rupees, and therefore that 6.67 was not enough to cover even the 20, and therefore nothing was set off against premium, and this 10 rupees premium has not been received by the company from Yogesh, and therefore when premium is not received, securities premium account will also be debited while you're forfeiting the shares. Securities premium account. Excuse me, my dear children. Securities premium account debit. Share capital account debit to share forfeiture account to calls in arrears. Yogesh's shares forfeited. Now, securities premium account will be debited with the number of shares forfeited multiplied by the securities premium amount that was not received. So, 600 shares of Yogis have been forfeited and 10 rupees premium per share has not been received. So, that will be 6,600 into 10, which is 6,000. And share capital will be debited with the called up value of capital per share into number of shares forfeited. If you look at the question, you see 40 rupees has been called up on application and 30 rupees on allotment, but out of the 40, 30 is the capital portion, 10 is the premium portion, and similarly in allotment, out of the 30 called up, 20 only is capital portion, remaining is premium portion. The total called up value is 50 rupees. First call was not made, before that we are forfeiting the shares, and therefore it is 50 rupees. So 600 into 50, which will be 30,000. All right. The next thing that I want you to fill is the calls and arrears part. Calls and arrears has already been computed by us. In this question, there is only allotment in which we have calls and arrears. Immediately after that, we forfeited, and in allotment, we had debited calls and arrears with 14,000, which we will credit now. So that is 14,000. So what would be our share forfeiture, the amount paid? Will obviously be the balancing figure. So 36,000 minus 14,000, which is 22,000. The next thing to do in the question would be to, in case they had reissued, to reissue, but they did not reissue. They had gone ahead and called the first call on the remaining shares. They haven't told that they've made the first call on the remaining shares, but it's obvious once you've forfeited the shares, you're not going to be, they're not shares anymore. So you cannot make the first call on those 600 shares of Yogesh. You're only calling the first call on the remaining shares. So the total shares are 30,000. First, it's pass the journal entry, share first call account debit. To share capital account, share first call made due. Total number of shares that we have is 29,400. Out of the 30,000 shares, 600 shares belong to Yogesh, which we had forfeited. So the remaining shares on which we're making a call is 39,400. And first call was 30 rupees per share. So 29,400 into 30 is 8,82,000. And all the amount due on first call was received, and therefore we received the first call money then without any calls in arrears. Because Yogesh calls in arrears is not relevant here anymore because the shares have been forfeited. So share first call, share first call. See. So we receive the total amount, therefore it will be 8,82,000. Whatever we do. With that, we have come to the end of this problem, my dear children. And this was asked as a 6-mark question. It's a small question. They forfeited before making the first call. But as long as they are good with the journal entries and working notes that are supposed to be done, it's a very, very small, easy problem which you can easily solve in the student and won't take a lot of time for you also to solve. Let me show you the answer to this one. Just give me one quick second. Where is it? Yeah. So as you can see in the answer, share application, bank to share application 16 lakh, share application to share capital 16 9 lakh, 3 lakh, 2 lakh, 2 lakh, and then share allotment, share capital. Whatever we did, it's the same thing, my dear children. And bank to calls and arrears to share allotment 7 lakh 14,000, 6 lakh 86,000, and then share capital, securities premium to forfeited shares to calls and arrears 36 22 14, whatever we did, and share first call, share capital 8 lakh 82, and bank to share first call again 8 lakh 82. So with that, we've come to the end of this video, my dear children. If you are finding this useful, if you like what we are doing here in Caroline's Online Academy, and if you think that we should continue the good work, a little bit of motivation from your side will be very much appreciated. And the motivation you can give to a like or a share or a like and a share and a comment below, stating your views. And in case you have any doubts, please do comment. In case you have any feedback, in case you want to say something, please do make a comment on the below the video there. We'll see you guys again. You people take care, have fun, and keep working hard. Bye.